So, what is branding? Basically, it helps your dream clients figure out and differentiate you from your competitors. It's a visual representation of your values and your personality within your brand and helps set the tone that your audience to what you want your audience to feel when they're viewing it. It should be a mix of two things: your personality and how it can speak to your target audience. It should be consistent, which builds trust among your clients and followers, which then leads to more sales within your business. They've said that people can purchase based on emotion. So when people feel that they can connect with you through your branding and your business, they're more likely to go with yourself. So here's two examples here for Esther and Lindsay to show a little bit of what branding entails. So, people really, have said to me, oh, I just need a logo. And there's really so much more to that. You need the rest of the pieces to really build that foundation of your branding. So we've got two examples here. This is a primary logo, and we've also got the color palette on the side here. Your primary logo is the logo that I would say you would probably use the most within your branding. When I start a project with a client, I always get them to fill out a questionnaire. It helps me figure out, who they are, the services they offer, what they want to do in the future, help them figure out who their target audience is if they don't already know who that is. So for this here, we've got Esther's, and she's got some beautiful, bright photos. She is the golden hour queen, so we really wanted to create branding that connected that with her work. So we've got some gorgeous colors from the from sunsets in the golden hour, and we incorporate that into her branding. We've got Lindsay's branding here that has beautiful earthy tones, so we really want to bring in those greens, those blues, those browns. I'll show you an example of Lindsay's website later on, just to give you an idea of what it looks like all together. So that's kind of like what a primary logo is. Then we've got the secondary logo. So let's say your primary logo is in a circular format. You want your secondary to basically be the opposite of that. It'll be maybe more horizontal or vice versa. You want to have it so it's like maybe you're creating some kind of pricing guide, and you find that you need to put your logo in a certain location, and you find that that primary logo doesn't fit within that location. That's when you would use your secondary, something that fits better within the space. So here's two examples here. As you can see, we've got Lindsay's here and then Esther's, but then you see how they're like different in terms of layout, but they're still consistent with the branding. You want to use the same colors, the same illustrations, the same fonts to really kind of tie it all in together. So once we've got that, then we move on to the brand marks. So these are a more simplified version of your logo and includes your color palette. A really good example of this is when you're driving down the street and in the distance you might see the big golden arch, which is McDonald's. You'll know instantly that that M is connected to McDonald's. That is a brand mark. Something that you can look at and say, okay, I know that. It's easily recognizable to the brand. We've got some gorgeous little brand marks here. Does anybody have any questions so far? All good?
No, everyone's feeling good? Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
I'm feeling like hiring her.
Yeah, me too. You might have
You will not regret it.
Yeah.
It's an investment. They all want to hire you.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love it. So how to build brand identity and bring awareness through an online presence. As you know, social media is everything. I can't stress this enough. It really is everything. Like, it's grown so much over the last few years, and whether you are on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn, I don't know I'm not a huge LinkedIn person, but I know some people who are, and they've gotten clients this way. There's really never too much awareness that you can spread about your business, especially with other businesses, like so many other businesses that are out there. You want to get yourself out there as much as possible. You want to make sure that your Instagram feed is cohesive and appealing to your specific target audience. You want to show, like exactly what you offer. You want your viewers to come to your page and instantly know, okay, I'm searching for a wedding photographer. I think I just found one. Here we are. You want to show what kind of service you offer, how you can help them solve a problem, which is hiring you as their wedding photographer. I have, as kind of mentioned before, like if you are a photographer who works primarily with food or weddings, you want to showcase that that's the service you offer. Never showcase something that you're not too sure that you want to offer. If you're, working primarily with couples and you're not sure if you want to do maternity shoots, don't show it. Stick to what you love, what speaks most to you. And then we want to showcase your work on social media. Treat your social media like a portfolio. If you just did a shoot, you want to tell them about the process, what it was like. Did this couple randomly reach out to you on TikTok? Share that story. Build a connection. Tell people so they can feel, oh hey, other people contact a photographer on TikTok. That's not weird. Okay, let me do it. I want to do that. You want to tell them a little bit about the behind the scenes. Tell them about yourself, where you're from. Really kind of build a foundation. Get them to get to know you. Show your personality. Because people want to feel connected. That's really what social media is about. And of course, I'm sure as you already know, you want to optimize your bio, whether that's on Instagram or TikTok. You want to say like the type of photographer you are, maybe where you're based out of. That way somebody from, Maine comes across your portfolio, they might realize, okay, maybe I'm trying to stick to somebody who is more within my area, or hey, I kind of want to hire someone to do, some people might want to do elopements and they want to travel for photography. Showcase that on your bio. Tell them what you offer. Tell them what you want to do. Websites. So I love building websites. I think that this is my most favorite thing that I do. It's really awesome to connect with female entrepreneurs and help them bring all of what we've created together, from the branding to and incorporating their portfolio and creating a website that tells a story. That's basically what you want your website to do. You want it to be easy to navigate. They have said that there is a total of 3 seconds. 3, so such a short amount of time for somebody to come across your website and say, okay, I am loving this, I'm intrigued, I want to know more about it, or if there's too much going on, they'll feel overwhelmed and they will X out of it. So within those 3 seconds, you really want to capture their attention. So what I like to do all the time is showcase right off the bat. I will show an example right after this. Who you are, what you offer, and where you're based out of. For very first thing, I think it's the most important thing. Less really is more when it comes to this. Chances are, if they're on your website, they're already interested in you. So give them a little bit more information, but you don't need tons. You can speak to them through your imagery too. So showcasing your beautiful photos and having like little points here and there. Having too much text all at once can seem overwhelming and people might not read it. So you want to break it up a little bit throughout the website. You want to make it very clear of how they can contact you, how they can book, where they can find your your services, on what you offer. Having testimonials is great. It shows that you've worked with clients and that they genuinely like the experience with you. And then lastly, basic SEO. So basic SEO is really just using keywords that apply to your business. So if you're a wedding photographer in Jasper, let's say, you want to include those words within your website. Another great trick to have is name your files. Like, let's say, Lindsay, film and photography, Edmonton. You can name your files that, so it includes those keywords, and it'll pick up on it when you get searched. So that's always good to know. Here's an example of the website we're creating with Lindsay. So you can see here, so I've broken it up here. This is all the homepage. We've got the navigation bar on the top. We've got this is called a header intro section. So we've got who Lindsay is. She is a wedding photographer and filmmaker, and she's based in Alberta. So it's easy for people to see right away, okay, I know who I'm looking into, basically. And then we've got some fun little graphics here. GIFs are awesome. We love GIFs. GIFs? GIFs. What is it?
I think it's
I kind of rotate.
GIFs. One of them. One of them. We love them. So this is just a flat image, but on her actual website, you can see the moving parts of Lindsay, which is really awesome.
I'll pull it up later.
Yeah, it's really great. So we've got a section that takes her to your portfolio, an about section. So I tend to have a section on the homepage for almost each page. So we've got a portfolio section. We've got for the testimonials here, you can click through and see what people have to say. And we included like little moving videos of their special day, and then an outsourcing link here. So this will take you to, first of all, it'll take you to a contact page, but it'll also take you to Lindsay's YouTube page with all the rest of her awesome videos. So that is a home page. And then using social media to benefit your business. So it's really awesome to showcase, if you have share your knowledge, but like, let's say, you did a workshop like this weekend, tell people about it. They want to know, how are you, like, I graduated from design school about 7.5 years ago, and things have changed so much since then. I am constantly looking into different kinds of courses that I can take to better my skills and techniques, and how I can keep up with the trends. So it's good to let your viewers know what you're doing to educate yourself. Play with your captions. So if you're getting personal, I shared something. I have pretty bad anxiety, so I shared something about that with my audience, and it was crazy how many people contacted me and said, hey, I have really bad anxiety too. People really really love the fact that you can get up close and personal a little bit. So it was good to know that, and I try to kind of tie that in once in a while here and there, so you can build connections with people, because that's really what it's about at the end of the day on social media. You want to review your analytics, so you can check on your Instagram page on your insights to see, what has the most saves, what has the most shares. If you did a post that, like, let's say, has tips to, I don't know, what to wear at an engagement shoot, versus a post that maybe had tips on how to, I don't know, something else. Edit and cull, is that the word? Culling?
Yeah.
Let's say the one with the engagement shoot outfits to wear had a better rating with more shares and stuff. Try to create more posts with that. because that's everything. People are interested, you'll know that people are interested in that, so you want to kind of, you could even do like a monthly, oh, here's a monthly tip, or tip of the week, that kind of thing. You want to utilize hashtags. So if you're, wedding photographer in Jasper, you want to use those hashtags. Look and see. Sometimes the ones with that have like 2 million hashtags in it aren't the ones you want to work with. That they're overly saturated, which means that you can't maybe get seen as much. And you want to, of course, show up and be consistent. It doesn't mean you have to post every day if you don't want to. But if you, tend to post 4 times a week, consistently do that. I think that being consistent is key, I would say. And it's the same thing for your branding too. And then lastly, networking. I have made some wonderful friends through Instagram. I think that it is a wonderful way to connect with people. I really, really think so. Obviously get clients, but also connecting with people in your industry. Like, sometimes Esther and I will text and be like, oh my gosh, okay, I've got this scenario with a client. What do I do? It's so nice to connect with people who are in a similar industry to you, because I have my closest friends that I may talk to every day, but they might not understand, like, how do I deal with a client like this? Or, this happened, what do I do? So it's really great to do that. And then I cannot preach this enough, community over competition, always. When I first started my business, I had friends who said to me, like, oh, there's a lot of other designers out there, like, how do you do it? And I said, like, every person has their own particular style. There is no one person who has the exact same style or has the exact same personality. Showcase your personality, show your different work, and that's really what it's about. People want to work with you based on who you are and your specific style, and no one is the same. So that is everything. Let me know if you guys have any questions about anything. I would love to answer them.
Burning questions about websites or branding.
How often, sorry, hi, I'm Kate.
Can you hear me?
Hi.
Awesome.
How often do you update your branding? Because obviously, stylistically, trends come and go, but how often would you suggest that that's something that you should evaluate? Obviously, working with someone who's an expert like yourself would help, but what's kind of the trigger point, or what would you suggest the trigger point be?
So for sure, trends come and go. That's why it's important to create a brand that is timeless. If you're constantly, for example, myself, I change my branding a lot because I can't help it. I see, I'm a huge font lover. I love color. I love all things design. So I'm constantly seeing, hey, I love that and I want to change it. It's not necessarily a good thing to consistently be changing your branding, because someone may get to know that specific branding for what it is, and then you change it, someone might not connect the two. So when you are building branding, it is important to create something that is timeless, something that would be carried throughout for years. And when you create it, you should want to look at it and be like, oh my gosh, I love this. This is me. If you don't love your branding, then it's time to change it. So to answer your question, I guess, try to keep it true to you, and only really push forward with it if you really, really love it, so you don't have to keep changing it, basically.
Makes sense. Okay.
Excellent. Any other questions?
Hi, my name's Karin.
Hi.
Hi, just wanted to ask, so what is the turnaround for, if someone did get you to do a website or branding? How long does it usually take you? Do you have a waiting list, or
Go ahead, Camille, shameless self-promotion.
I definitely tend to book out a little bit in advance, quite a bit in advance. It does take time because we do work closely to create custom branding to start with. So if somebody was interested in a website and they have branding from someone else, it's really hard to mesh the two together because design is so specific to that person's style that sometimes it's hard to match up that website design to someone else's branding. So whenever I work with clients, I always either we just do branding or we do branding web together. I don't know, branding would take up to about 3 weeks, I would say, whereas website can take up to 3 months sometimes because we work a lot back and forth. It's truly custom in every way, so it's really unique. But it also depends on how quickly the client responds. So, I would say the most amount of time is 3 months, but it can definitely get done in like 6 to 7 weeks.
Awesome. And what is the cost associated with everything? It's always good to know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. So branding, we dig deep into a questionnaire, get you to fill out kind of everything for me to understand like your hopes and dreams and really, figure out where the business is going and how best we can speak to your target audience. So it's really, it includes a strategy. So it's not just creating anything. It's really, there's a lot of thought behind it. So a branding package starts at $9.85, and then when we build custom websites and it includes branding, it's around the $5,000 mark, I would say.
Nice. That's good.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
But it pays back in the long run.
Oh, yeah, totally.
For sure.
For sure.
Definitely.
Like, clients say to me, I booked 2 weddings and it paid off my website. So I was like, that's a really good way to think about it.
Yeah.
For sure.
And sorry, what is your waiting list right now? Like, say if I called you tomorrow and said, hey, you do my website in brand.
So for branding, I would say beginning of May, I would say, to get started. And then after those, let's say 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks that we've completed the branding, we can get started for the website. So let's say branding beginning of May, and then it kind of just will probably fall into June for website design.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll give you a call.
Cool.
Camille, what do you think about, this is what I did, I'll shamelessly admit it. I went onto Etsy and I purchased a pre-made Wix website template. I'm not sold on the branding colors or anything, but is it okay if I decided to go on there and change the colors of that? Like, would that be okay? Like on my
For
website
sure.
itself? Okay.
Totally. And if you're not totally sure of what kind of colors to use,
Yeah.
honestly, Pinterest is your best friend. You can look up and use specific keywords to your style of photography. So let's say if you are, light and airy, I would look up pastel kind of color palettes.
Right.
If you're branding, if you're, because you want it to all tie in, right? Like
Right.
somebody goes to your social media page on Instagram, they see that you have beautiful light and airy images, and then your branding colors are dark and deep reds and deep browns. It's not going to tie in together, and you also want it to be a reflection of who you are too. So you want to really mesh the two together. So I would look on Pinterest and say you can look up color palettes and see, and quite often they'll give you the color codes, and you can use those in Canva or Wix or whatever platform that you are using to create your website.
Right. Cool.
Yeah.
Not that I wouldn't want to hire you. I'm just saying. Sorry. Thank you.
Awesome.
It's white. I was like, weddings have to be white, but then you see my pictures are not white.
Yeah.
But I thought my website had to be white. So, and then you see, I just started adding things. There's like the button.
Yeah.
Everything's white. Like things are thrown in there in, you know, no real order. I just kind of added things based on the blocks that were available to me when I was building. There's all these open spaces, but you know, it exists. It's a website. You'll also notice that there's like no navigation buttons, so you can't go anywhere. You're stuck here. So this is what I had for a very long time. I'll show you the live version of my new website.
Love it.
Our colors are so similar.
Oh, it's so pretty.
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah.
See, and then you scroll through, things are moving.
Can you see the GIFs?
Yeah, the GIFs.
Yeah.
Love it.
They're so fun. I love them.
Yeah. And then the testimonials. Scroll through.
Oh, I
And
love
some
it.
of them are
Marketing my
videos.
social media, like mine sucks.
Yeah.
Come on.
So like, yeah, it's still not totally done yet, but this is, I think, a huge step forward from this to that. And it definitely incorporates way more of my branding and my personality and who I am.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a fan.
Me too, I'm loving it. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
So
Yeah.
what would you think would be more of an investment? Investing in branding yourself or investing on expensive lenses as a photographer? You know what I mean? Like,
Well, the thing is, you can always rent lenses.
yeah, that's true.
You can't rent
That's right.
branding,
Yeah.
right?
So I was like always wondering, I was like, I think, yeah, I definitely need to get a website built. I'm all into the branding thing. It's so important.
Yeah, and you can do a lot with a little. Like, you don't need every lens in order to succeed. Like Esther, you were saying you had one camera and one lens for the first like year of your business shooting weddings.
Longer than that.
Longer
Yeah.
than that. Like one camera and one lens. And like that was the same for me too. I think I had two lenses. One of them was the kit lens and the other one was a prime lens. And like that gets you started for sure.
Yeah.
And you can always rent things.
Yeah, that's true.
Like you can rent really expensive lenses really cheaply.
Yeah.
And my philosophy on like gear and renting is rent until it becomes more feasible to buy.
Yeah.
So if renting is getting so expensive because you're renting it over and over and over and over again, then it's more feasible to just pay for it and have it.
Yeah.
But if you're only using it every once in a while and it's more feasible to just rent, then just keep renting.
Mhm.
But yeah, the branding, like the website for me, especially,
Mhm. So nice.
it feels so much more consistent for me, and I'm so much more proud of this
Mhm.
new website. Like
Yeah.
having my logos and like my business card even, and all the stuff that I'm posting on my socials. Like I'm trying to have like a certain look and a certain brand associated with it, but then people go to my website and it looks completely different.
Yeah.
And so there's no consistency there. So having them go to a website that looks like this is very consistent with the rest of my branding, and I feel so proud of it, and I'm gonna be so excited when it's live, and that's what people are gonna see when they go to my website.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that like branding was very, very valuable for me.
Yeah.
And I feel a lot more confident about sharing my brand versus before it was like, oh, I had a logo because you need to have a logo.
Yeah.
I wasn't excited about my logo,
Yeah.
you know? But now I'm excited about it. I'm
Sure,
excited
you
about my
have to
brand.
love
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
And that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking like it's just so like just seeing all this. I'm like, hey, sign me up today. Let's go. Like,
Well, feel free to send me a message. if
Yeah,
you
I
have
will.
Questions,
Yeah.
I'm happy to answer them, for sure.
Yeah, and Camille's fantastic to work with.
Thank
Camille,
you.
do you mind if I show them some of our Miro page?
I am in love with Miro.
I
Miro.
love
It's so awesome. I'm so glad you found that. Yes, feel free to show them. It's really great.
I love it. So what we did is, just because we're talking about website design, I'll show you what like the process looks like a little bit. So we have this like digital board, because I'm a very visual person. So I like to lay things out in like picture form instead of just writing a bunch of text out. So we have this board. It's like a digital whiteboard, and Camille and I share it. So I started over here. This is all of my information and all of my sticky notes and all of my comments and all of her comments. And then she took all of that and made versions of the homepage. And then I had more comments that were updated. Then these are just different iterations and all the notes that I associated with it. So I just went through, I added sticky notes where I had some thoughts I wanted to share. I added little comments where I said that the layout was feeling a little weird for me, and can we update it to look like this? And just, yeah, anything that I want to update, like the text or the font, or updating the video from that one to this one. So we just kind of go through, and we both have control over this board. So we just keep adding notes and keep adding iterations. So this is, like, at least for me, this is what it looks like to do that website process. So in case you were wondering, it's a lot of back and forth and all these notes, but it works really well.
Totally. And like, it really is an investment in your business. So you have to be willing to, put in the time and the effort into it. Like, some people, they feel like, I am an awful writer. I have outsourced, and I work with a copywriter. She, I will go into Google Doc and say basically everything I want to say, and she will put it together and make it sound like me with my tone of voice, and just make it sound more professional. So you really, and you want to also, like, I had a client a while back who she said, I'm so busy, like, I don't know how I can do this, but you want to have everything basically ready to go before we start the website. So have, if you want to have tons of images from your most favorite weddings, or, if you did a family session and you got a ton of those, send them over. You want to have as much options as possible, because we'll, create so many different sections that will have images that rotate and have GIFs, and that will have, a few different images. So you want to have, of course, as much option as possible. So have a ton of your portfolio ready to go, along with the copy. And then, if you are like myself and you're not a great writer, I can always set you up with somebody who can really help you out and figure out, like, what your keywords are, so you can be found more on Google and all that kind of fun stuff.
Yeah. Awesome. Cool. So cool.
Cool. Does anybody have any other questions?
No, everyone looks good.
Okay, awesome. Well, it was really great to tell you guys about my business, and I hope you have an amazing rest of the time on your workshop.
Thanks, Camille.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Camille.
Bye.
Yeah, for sure. Talk to you soon. Bye.
And paid like $60 for someone to design a logo, and it was supposed to come with like the PNG file and like all this stuff, and it's so distorted if you try to like use it anywhere, because it's so tiny. So if you ever try to blow it up, it just like loses all of like its fine line work and stuff, and that's what I really like, is like fine lines.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just a disaster. So I paid $60 and thought this was a great deal, and it actually like looks super cute when it's this big.
Yeah.
And it just didn't work at all. So at this, really, she sells it,
Yeah.
Like, I think her work speaks for itself. Like,
Yeah,
work
her
sells
work is
itself.
amazing.
Yeah.
She does. I think most of her work is, like, we're talking about referrals. I'd say most of her work is referral basis.
Yeah.
It was kind of like a snowball effect. Like, I know this photographer that hired her, and then I saw another photographer post about her, and I was like, So then I hired her, posted about her. That's
And then I saw
Lindsay.
Esther post about her.
Lindsay
and
saw
I
my
hired
post
her.
about it and then hired her, because I was like, oh, cool, how'd you hear about Camille? She's like, you posted about her. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, sweet.
Because Esther posted a referral. You posted an Instagram story.
Yeah, I just said, like,
saying
this girl's
how
the best.
happy you were working with her. And I was like, I want to be happy working with somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Camille didn't ask me to do that. I just did that because I was so happy with the process. I think one other thing she was saying how like, she said like before we start working together, have your stuff ready. I think one misconception that I had was that it was gonna be like, sweet, I get to just step out of this process and give it to you. It was actually very time consuming. She talked about some clients that, you know, response time and like, you know, really, and I just was so swamped with everything that was going on and stuff, and
So that was you she was referring to.
Probably, that the 3-month process, that's pretty accurate for me, maybe longer actually for mine, because I was just like, no, I'm like, sorry, can we swap this out? And I think was I telling Karin about how just like, me and Camille were in the middle of our website design, and then I just decided, nope, I don't want to shoot families, can you just scrap that all together? Yeah, and then she's like, okay, no problem, and like took it off. I'm like, don't worry, I won't change my mind and make you like go through and do it again, but I said, sorry, can you just scrap that? Actually, I want to just get rid of it all together and stuff.
Yeah.
And she was so great, but I had to be like so heavily involved. I said, oh, sorry, can you swap that photo?
Yeah.
No, I want to actually change this. Can you move the video here?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't like, and I was like, I didn't think it would be that much work for me, but I had to like make a gallery, like these are my favorite
But
photos
it's
I want to
important
use.
to
I
be
want to do
involved
this.
in the process too.
It is, totally. I think it's just good to be
But yeah,
prepared for.
I think this
that.
like gives you a good
that's
indication
really awesome.
of how much back and forth
Yeah,
there is.
Totally.
And how much involvement there is. So again,
Yeah.
like, just to your
That-
point that you don't just sit back and let it happen.
And that's what I thought. I just thought I'm giving it to someone
you're not
else.
part
It
of
is
it,
good to be
yeah.
involved, but like you should, have a heads up that it is a process and that you are like very much in depth, like a lot of back and
Yeah.
forth to get it
See,
the way you want.
Like my thing
But on
is
the
like,
plus side, you won't have this anymore.
yeah, well, mine is really bad. But I was gonna say like, see, my problem is like I don't have any weddings to show yet.
Yeah.
Like on my website, which I really want to do. So that's like, my problem. Like I've got the weddings booked this year.
Yeah. And like some of that can be like styled shoots, like the one
Yeah,
you're
that's what I
doing,
mean. Like I guess I can just.
this weekend. So you
Yeah.
can use styled shoots, and like that's some of the first images that I used were from like some courses and some pictures, because there was no way I was using my actual first wedding ever.
No.
because,
Gosh.
so you heard that story last night. It was a surprise, and those pictures were not good, but they exist.
I know, I'm like worried about, I'm so nervous, like literally I think about it all the time in my first wedding, because I did their engagement photos. So like,
I
you
promise
did
they
wedding.
won't be worse than my first wedding
Oh,
photos.
I was like,
At
oh,
least you
yeah.
have time to prepare.
Yeah.
You know,
I
at
did
least
have-
you know what you're getting into.
I had one question and I should have asked it. It was kind of a follow-up. So, I don't know, let's say we hire Camille or someone like Camille to help us redo our branding. Like, how do you rebrand? Like, you just switch it over one day? No, like,
Yeah.
there's got to be a process where you, like, tell
I just
people
switch it
if you're
over.
changing your name or something, let's say. Like, if you decide that your brand isn't going to be Kate Cranmar Photography,
Yeah.
it's like Casey Photo Video Studio, which it is now.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
I mean, if you're
what is-
changing your name,
Yeah.
you might want to just give people a heads up so that they can recognize it, like
Yeah.
on Instagram, like if you're changing your Instagram handle.
Yeah.
I changed my Instagram handle a couple times and just didn't tell anyone. It was very simple though. It like was changed. It used to just be Fontaine Photo. Now it's Fontaine Photo Film. I
Yeah.
just added the film to it. So I figured people would still be able to find me. I didn't say anything and it worked just fine.
Okay.
If you're changing your name like completely, like from, I don't know, something like Butterfly Photography to like your name photography, then that's a big change, and you
Right.
might wanna just post some like stories and stuff about that. Honestly, I feel like stories are probably easier and more accessible to people than posting even in most
Right.
cases on Instagram, because I know I've run polls before and most people see my stories and hardly anyone sees my posts
Yeah.
unless I share them on stories.
Especially now with algorithms and stuff like that.
Yeah, so people see my stories, that's mostly where they see me. So I post for consistency and just share them to stories, but in terms of like the actual brand, I just one day made a post and it was basically like, this is my new brand from Camille, and that was it. I wonder if I can
I
actually
just switched
find it.
mine all over too, and that's what it kind of actually gives you something to post, because then you can say introducing my new brand, like, you know, if you
Yeah.
have Canva,
Yeah.
is a huge, I don't know if you guys are gonna mention
Yeah.
it, but Canva is like a really great tool to use.
100%.
Is if you're not able at that point to, you know, hire somebody, you can do a lot of your own branding. There's even a branding kit like on Canva,
Yeah.
where you can do.
Where have I been?
There is.
I feel like I've been
Yeah.
under a rock.
Canva's like
So
a baby, it's a baby graphic design program.
Kind of, I
It's-
think.
Yeah.
It's like a
Yeah,
really
like I
handy,
think it's a
like,
great starting point. Like
Yeah.
I didn't hire Camille
I-
until like last year. I did like I
I was
really
gonna
just
say,
had my own
I-
stuff. Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I would love to invest in
Yeah.
all of this, but I think that my priorities had been purchasing equipment that I felt that I
Mhm.
needed.
that you felt you needed. Yeah.
So I've
100%.
made, and now that I have these tips, like I can maybe buffer some stuff up a little bit
Yeah.
and make it look a
100%.
little bit
Just
better.
spruce it up.
It's like color
Until
change.
you're ready, and like I was just
Yeah.
siphoning money off to until I could save up to
Yeah.
pay her because I knew I didn't want to go with a cheaper designer,
No.
but I didn't have the cash flow to do it beforehand. So I think
Yeah.
it's good to kind of be like, okay, I'm saving for this, and I did that for every single lens that I got too. Like no,
Yeah.
not until I actually have the money. Okay, boom, then I'm gonna do that. So
Cool.
Yeah, but I mean, it kind of goes back to our original point of even putting this weekend together is being more focused on growing your business and focused on your business versus just equipment and just photography.
Yeah.
Because there's so much more to business
Yeah.
than just buying new lenses. And like, don't get me wrong, I love lenses. I have so many. I am the person that buys so many lenses, but you don't need them when you're getting started. What you need is a solid business
Yeah,
plan
that's-
so that you can start growing. And then once you start growing, you'll have the income coming in to invest in those things. So, yeah, were you telling a story yesterday about someone who just bought a bunch of equipment and didn't have anything booked?
Oh,
my
yeah.
friend, yeah, I think I was
Yeah,
telling
like
Clive
just
this, yeah.
spending tons of money on things but not having anything booked is not how you run a business. That's how you have fun spending your money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, that's it. That's not what it means to run a business. Just buying things. That's not running a business.
I know, I've almost
That's
made that
making money.
mistake like so many times.
Yeah.
Like
Because
buying
it's
these
where your mind
expensive
goes, right?
lenses
You're like,
and
I
like
need
camera.
the top of the top.
I know, and then my
stuff.
husband's like, what? You know, like, no, like you're not,
Yeah.
because he's the practical one. But
Mhm.
yeah, I'm glad that like this definitely is a huge help because I feel that I feel that too. Like I need to build a better brand. I like my brand, but it could be better.
Portfolio is important too.
Yeah, my portfolio. Yeah, for
Having
sure.
enough images so you can go and put a bunch on a website is important.
Yeah, that's why like the tomorrow I'm excited for. At least I can have some
Yeah.
like wedding stuff. But like
Yeah,
I
lots
just
of variety, yeah.
Yeah, and it's a process. Like it takes time.
Mhm.
You don't need to have everything sorted out immediately, right? Like you don't need to have all your ducks in a row in order to start growing and start moving forward. And one thing that I've heard that has always stuck with me is that you don't have to have your ducks in a row to get started. Have you ever seen ducks just sitting around in a row? No. If ducks are not moving, they're all over the place. It's only when they start moving that they line up.
Yeah.
Right? So you have to start moving for your ducks to get in a row.
exactly. I got lots of ducks. And that's exactly
Lots
what
of
these do too.
Lots of ducks. They're a little insane, but
Yeah.
it's all good.